Check it out, guys. I'm like a real YouTuber now. Got all the full kit wanker. New microphone. Let me know how it sounds. Very exciting. I hope this all comes out nice and clear. Not that other shit microphone I used to use, guys. Like, you can tell me, guys, it was terrible, wasn't it? I only paid a tenner for it, and it showed. Let's just put it over. Let's put it there. Yeah, I'll do. You'll be able to see my screen. I've got some notes here because we do have a video today that I'm very excited to bring you, because I've been telling you for weeks that I was going to do this video and I never did it. Now I'm doing it. It is my Mugello video, and this is the first video I've done that's like a circuit profile video. I'm hoping to do a few more throughout the season. I've got a couple of circuits, a couple of my favorite circuits that I am going to do throughout the season, sort of as we get to them and if we get to them. But if there's any circuits that you specifically want to hear about, or you want me to do a bit of a profile on, let me know in the comments. And if they're not ones that I was already going to do, I'll try and do them for them. In fact, I will do them. Let's just do them all right? Without any further ado, let's get into it. And let's start with the facts, the numbers. What do we know about Mugello? The Mugello circuit is located right here. We're about 35 kilometers from Florence, which is sort of the capital of the region in Tuscany. And it is just one of the most sensational parts of the world, isn't it? The circuit is just over 5.2 kilometers long. Oh, and if you are living in an imperial world and you are an imperial girl, that is just over 3.2 miles long. But, you know, grow up. Get some metric in your life. There's 15 turns, 9 to the right, 6 to the left, and the straight is just over 1.1 kilometers long. As we know, it is the most famous part about the circuit, isn't it? That nice long straight. At its widest point, we're looking at about 14 meters wide. At its narrowest, I think it's about 9.5 meters wide. And the stands can hold a capacity of about 50,000 insane Italians. From a MotoGP perspective, our fastest race lap was set this year, 2021, by Johann Zarco on a Ducati. It was a 1:46.810. Our all-time record was set in qualifying of the same year by Fabio Quartararo. That was a 1:45.187. The circuit itself has only been there since 1974. Before that, there was racing in Mugello. We did race all kinds of things around Mugello for many, many years before that. From 1914, as early as that, we were racing there on what was a 66 kilometer long road circuit just around the Mugello region. The modern circuit is about 5 kilometers east of the easternmost point of that circuit, and some of the races that they used to do there, like the Mugello Grand Prix and things like that, car race, would be like as much as 8 laps of that 66 kilometer circuit on what I would assume would be some really thin, poorly kept, dangerous roads. That circuit was used until about 1970. And like I said, then construction started in 1973 for the modern circuit, and it was completed in 1974. They hit some financial troubles in the 80s, come the mid to late 80s, and in 1988, the circuit was officially purchased by Ferrari. The intention was to use it as a bit of a testing ground for them, and they also obviously had intended it to be revitalized as a circuit for a lot of big events, not only just local events, but they obviously had in mind to get the bikes there, I think, because after going through some extensive upgrades, they upgraded everything from, like, obviously the facilities, the pit facilities, the hospitality facilities, the paddock. The safety of the circuit was upgraded. Old armcos were ditched in favour of concrete walls. Sand traps were extended. Oh, and they also basically made the little short circuit variation that you can do. They've been that, and all that is now is a little shortcut back to the pits. And obviously that's a continual process. Ferrari do pump money into this circuit. It's continually upgrading, and because it's such a popular circuit now, they will be very keen to keep it top notch. From a MotoGP aspect here, after the 88 purchase, the upgrades came in, like I said, 1991. By 1991, we had MotoGP back there permanently, and it's basically been there ever since. We saw the debut in 91 of World Superbikes there. I'm going to get into now why I love Mugello so much and why I wanted to do this video. Aside from the facts and stuff that we've just gone through, there's all stuff you can find out for yourself. But, you know, for me, Mugello is just one of the special ones. Mark Webber summed it up really beautifully one day in a tweet. He'd just done a test there, but basically he got out of the car, jumped on his phone, pushed out a tweet. Did 10 dry laps today around Mugello, which is the same as doing 1,000 laps around Abu Dhabi in terms of satisfaction. That is the quote that sums it up for me the most. And that's why I wanted to do this video. In a time where we're getting a lot of new circuits getting built, a lot of countries that traditionally aren't motorsport countries are trying to get in. They're trying to get their own Grand Prix. We're getting these circuits that are designed to make F1 racing more exciting, I guess. And it's not really working because sometimes they come up with shit like Abu Dhabi and it's dreadful, right? Long straights, tight turns, bullshit, right? We don't like the Tilka shit. I don't want to slate him too much, but the Tilka stuff, I mean, I like Malaysia, but that's pretty much it. We're getting things like Kota in Texas. Great facilities. I'd love to go to that Grand Prix one day, but the circuit's a bit shit. It's just so it's just like a mix mash of all different circuits is put together, and it's not me, really. I don't love it. But anyway, the point of what I'm trying to say is we are moving away as time goes on and new circuits are getting built, which is great because motorsport's growing. But as new circuits get built, we sort of move away from this taking a beautiful piece of countryside that we want to build it on and sort of building around the land and building through the valleys and up the hills and around the trees and around a lake. Circuits we're not doing that anymore. They're being designed on a computer, flat. You know, I know Kota has the uphill thing. Yeah, I get it. It's fine. The rest of the circuit's just fucking plain as shit, okay? We're not building circuits around our landscapes anymore. And I think Mugello's important. I think it's an important place for motorsport and for MotoGP. And look, I am going to do a Phillip Island video, obviously, at some point, because Phillip Island is exactly the same for me. These are the two. Something else that I love about it is when you get modern circuits, obviously, you get things like turn 1, turn 7, turn 12, turn 645. Yeah, not in Mugello. These old circuits, there's a little bit of romanticism about these circuits. There is. You get romantic about it when you have a circuit like Mugello. And nothing represents that better than the names of the corners. I mean, this is what we got here. Just got a few here. We'll just pick a couple of my favourites. San Donato, Poggio Secco, the obvious ones. You're going down through Casanova and Savelli, hit the lowest point of the circuit, then back up the hill through Arrabbiata 1 and 2. Orontaio, where the Ducati fans sit. Biondetti chicane, Biondetti 1 and 2. They love a 1 and 2 in Italy, don't they, for a double turn? And by the way, Casanova Savelli, the Rossi helmet with his face. Do everyone remember that one? I don't know if anyone else knows why or what his reasoning was for putting that on the thing, but I do remember him saying in an interview when he had the helmet, it was like, that's the face I make when I go down through Casanova and Savelli. So you take that sort of thing, you drop it into where it is in the world, and the shots of just, I'll put a few up here for you, the shots of just the circuit with the hills in the background, stunning. And we will not get, no one's ever going to build a circuit from now on that has all this stuff, that can do this sort of stuff, because a Formula 1 car could only overtake there once a lap, so what's the point? You know, so we're not going to get any of that anymore. We've got to cherish and hold on to these circuits, and these are the reasons that I love Mugello. And I don't think there's a MotoGP fan out there that wouldn't agree with me, or a motorsport fan in general. It's top tier. It is a top tier circuit. They don't build them like that anymore. The only thing close that's been built recently that has a similar feel is probably Portimao. And the longer we go on, we're just going to get more Abu Dhabis. And if you've seen this new Saudi Arabia circuit, like, just fuck off. Just don't. Don't do that. Quickly to finish, I do want to touch on, there is a lot of criticism. It comes up every year, and whether it's valid or not is personal opinion. I'm not a motorcycle racer, so I can have my opinion, but really, how valid is it? But it's always, the safety thing always comes up with the way that, things like the way they enter turn 1. Super high speeds, kinking over a crest, a little wheelie jump, hanging it a little bit left to then jump on, try and straight line the braking is difficult. It takes a lot of skill to do that at that kind of speed. And then obviously we've had the tragic incident with Jason Dupasquier recently. That's not really a circuit thing. That's the kind of incident that MotoGP are going to have an issue with on all kinds of motorcycle racing. That kind of incident is always the most dangerous kind of incident, where it's being struck by another bike. That you can't really do anything. There's no infrastructure you can do to stop that. So that's not what people are talking about here. I don't think when they're talking about the safety. But there was I did hear a few murmurs. You get it a bit every year coming into the Grand Prix, even without that kind of incident, about the safety of the circuit, because the speeds of the bikes are so insane going into that turn one. Look, I don't have an issue with it myself. I think it's just a test of skill, really. And look, if it can't be taken at that speed, then it's like corner on any other circuit. You slow down. Like, you don't try and full ping turn one at Le Mans. You roll off. So it might get to the point where they might have to start rolling off there to keep the front wheel down and to get the bike turned, to straight line the braking. But at the moment, they all seem to be getting through it all right. Although we do see some horrible accidents there when people do go down, and that is the worry. You don't want to be reactionary, but it would be a shame to flatten and straighten out that front straight, wouldn't it? It just wouldn't look the same. But look, again, I'm just saying it because I like the way it looks when the bikes go through there. If I was on one of the bikes, maybe I'd be like, please straighten this circuit out. Like, please straighten that. Take my opinion with a pinch of salt. But that's it. I just wanted to do this little video. Let me know what you thought of it. I want to do some more circuit profiles, like I said, as we go throughout the year when we get to these circuits. If there's any kind of information you want to see me add to these kind of videos, I mean, it is like pretty much this was just my love letter to Mugello. So if you want any more like facts or history or anything like that, let me know. We can do more of that stuff in the future videos. Oh, and full disclaimer, guys, I've never actually been to this Grand Prix. I've never been to this Grand Prix. This is top tier, want to get to Grand Prix for me. I've been to a few other than Phillip Island, but never been to Mugello. I was booked to go there last year when it got cancelled. Even if it wasn't cancelled, obviously I wouldn't have been at the race anyway, but I did have my flights booked and my hotel ready to go. Didn't happen. So next year we'll get there and I'll be able to do this from the circuit, hopefully. That's all I got for now, guys. We will see you in the next one. Take it easy.